the greatest mystery of modern times.
They range from small circles or patterns tens of feet across to up to a mile across.
Crop circles, strange designs in flattened wheat, corn, or barley, puzzling symbols in an otherwise silent landscape. They appear overnight without a witness or a sound.
All the evidence we have so far does suggest that crop circles form in a matter of seconds, usually also at around 4 o'clock in the morning.
Science, too, searches for an answer.
Very few are man-made, probably less than 1%.
Are they created by pranksters, or, as some insist, by a force from beyond the stars, or even beyond the grave?
I've always equated it to walking into a cathedral, into a spiritual center of some kind.
But who or what is the real circle maker?
As soon as people hear that you're interested in crop circles, they always say, well, what is it then? What's making them? And of course, that's the one question you can't answer.
The greatest crop circle mystery is who creates the crop circles.
From rural America to the silent mystery of Stonehenge, we follow the circles in search of a sign. Pilot Kevin Bowe steers his crop duster into the endless North Dakota sky. It's a routine flight directly over farmer Randy Beta's wheat fields. But a few summers ago, this flight was anything but routine. Kevin Bowe was about to make a discovery that would change the small town of Langdon forever. This home video shot from Kevin's plane reveals an almost inconceivable sight. A huge crop circle is etched into the fields.
See that? You know what that is? Never seen anything like that before.
Kevin circled back for another look. He had to strain to see against the bright July sun. Now, Kevin can plainly make out a weird design, hundreds of feet long, slicing through the wheat.
Well, when we saw them, we were kind of confused until we figured out what they were and kind of amazed that they were around here.
The crop circle is 2/3 the size of a football field. An inexplicable pattern of 4 circles and parallel lines leads to a symbol shaped like the letter F. To some, it looks like a giant tinker toy, but others fear the unexplained markings are an ominous sign. From his seat in the sky, the young pilot is the first person to discover the Langdon crop circle. But back on the ground, even Kevin's father doesn't believe his son's story.
I'm a crop duster, and I said, the animals, the moose and the deer are laying out in the field, and they're making circles. And he said, no, Dad. He said, these aren't made by animals. He said, it's something different. I took the plane and went out and looked, and sure enough, there it was. And I said, my God, I said, I can't believe it.
The crop dusters call the local sheriff. Before long, the word is out. Something strange has visited Langdon. Randy Beta's family had farmed these fields for over 100 years when the crop circle appeared.
I was amazed. I didn't know what to think of the crop circle for sure. I mean, didn't know if it was a prank or if it was for real, or even to this day, I don't know for sure. The first thing I thought was it was almost too perfect to be a hoax. I mean, the shape and the diagram that it was almost too unique to be something that somebody could think of and do in the dark.
Langdon's population is right around between 2,500 and 2,700 people. In a small town like Langdon, when somebody does something, anything, word gets around very fast. The police thought the crop circles was a hoax from the very beginning. In fact, the police contacted media here in Grand Forks and said, don't come to Langdon to cover this story. It's a very big, giant hoax. I do believe they wanted to do this because they wanted to prevent, like, UFO freaks from coming and looking at it, people that really want to experience the paranormal.
But no one in this close-knit town, just a few miles from the Canadian border, steps forward to claim the crop circle. Not even when another circle appears just a few miles away. A circle 90 feet in diameter cuts through to another smaller ring. It's the second crop circle in just 4 days. The puzzling design is 155 feet long. Farmer Bob Elliott was startled to find the formation when he was inspecting his crop. Stepping back, he began to make out the unexpected shapes. He didn't know yet the circles would transform his life.
My impression it was that it was a prankster, some kind of a prank. But when I walked up into the area and found out that it just looked like too much effort for someone to make circles of this nature here.
It was an elliptical shaped circle and it was perfect, and all of the wheat was interwoven, which was something that, it was obvious to see that whatever created the crop circle obviously was done with a lot of, intricacy. It took a lot of time to do it.
But North Dakota summer nights are short. Working by moonlight isn't easy, and neither is disappearing without a trace.
The sheriff insisted that we would find prints because the ground was loose and dusty. And we noticed as we were walking through the field, we were both leaving a set of footprints. We were unable to find any footprints whatsoever.
When amateur crop circle researcher Stace Tussle heard about the North Dakota circles, she drove 1,000 miles from Denver to Langdon.
The Langdon crop circles had something that drove me to want to come here, something that told me that the crop circles were going to be worth the drive. I rented a car and I made it up here in 17 hours. I walked right across the boundary and into the crop circle, and immediately it was like, wow. I don't have any doubt that these were real formations, that they were genuine. In other words, they weren't created by people.
Farmer Bob Elliott never believed in the supernatural or in extraterrestrials until a crop circle appeared on his land. But now, the search for an answer to the crop circle mystery has filled even his dreams with fear.
I've had a dream after the crop circle. My dream was that I was aboard a spaceship, traveling at a terrific rate of speed. Everything was a low reddish color, as that's the way I look at it. My gut feeling was I was aboard that spaceship, traveling.
Before that strange summer in Langdon is over, a third crop circle will be found, but not a crop circle maker.
The unexplainable thing about the crop circles is that nobody ever really found out a name. Everybody claimed to know the person who did it, but they never had a name.
What astounds the no-nonsense farmers here is that the three formations, seen from the air, form a perfectly straight line. How could pranksters, working randomly between roads and fields, line up these circles situated miles apart, like points on a line? It's as if the circles were intentionally positioned from above. That makes everyone wonder, are these crop circles a sign?
What surprised me, I guess, was there was a certain feeling that went through me that it wasn't human nature. It was just something that appeared to be extraterrestrial, you may say, or something out of humans' hands.
Wherever they appear around the globe, crop circles are unsettling, unclaimed creations, made in secret, at night, with no observers. Those who find them can't help but wonder, is there a message for us in the strange designs?
The most basic form of crop circle is a swirled marking, circular, as the name suggests. And sometimes the crop is swept down in an anti-clockwise way or a clockwise way, sometimes radially, sometimes a combination of all these things.
The crop circles may seem simple at first, but look carefully. There are hidden geometries. A plain two-dimensional rendering is really a three-dimensional cube. And this triangular shape reveals 6 hidden cubes. This snowflake contains precise mathematical curves. The golden mean, a classic proportion found in nature, figures in many crop circle designs. But so do complex geometric patterns, like fractals, and the repeating spheres that make up this spectacular pattern.
You're looking here at 700 individual circles, some as large as 75 feet, many of them 75 feet in diameter. I mean, simply the human resource required to make them, let alone lay them out with preciseness, without a single error, over an area of 650,000 square feet, pushes the man-made theory to the extreme.
What began as simple circles have grown increasingly complex. An eclipse moves through this field. The sun appears to rise above a pyramid in this field. And this eerie formation, a human face, appeared next to an observatory in England. In the same field at the same time, an unusual rectangular formation with a DNA sequence and human forms.
It could well be some kind of extraterrestrial force or mind, aliens, call them what you will, which is trying to reach out to mankind in such a way as to not create panic.
Each new circle brings new possibilities for interpretation and investigation. The North Dakota farmers aren't the only ones baffled by the strange appearance of crop circles. They appear with intense frequency in southern England, but also in Canada, Russia, in rice paddies in Japan, and in crops all over the US. But their birthplace may be at the site of one of the world's greatest mysteries, Stonehenge. Coming up, could this 4,000-year-old stone circle hold the key to the modern crop circle mystery? And scientists discover astonishing new evidence from deep inside the wheat. Stonehenge, southern England. The sun rises and sets over this prehistoric monument as it has for nearly 5,000 years. The meaning of this ancient stone circle has never been deciphered. But the brooding old stones here have new companions in the fields. An estimated 90% of the world's crop circles appear within a 40-mile radius of Stonehenge in Wiltshire County, England.
In Wiltshire County, we have one of the greatest concentrations of ancient sacred sites in Britain.
Jude Stammers holds a master's degree in astrophysics from Oxford University. She studies these puzzling sites for her doctoral work in cognitive archaeology.
I'm trying to understand how the ancients created sacred sites and for what purposes. And since we see crop circles as contemporary sacred spaces, that's where the connection is.
Crop circles, like temporary temples, share the land here with permanent shrines. Strange and silent Silbury Hill, an ancient burial mound constructed at the time of the pyramids. The enigma of Stonehenge. And the even more puzzling stone circle at Avebury.
This is Avebury Stone Circle, a 4,500-year-old circle, one of the largest we've ever discovered.
Massive boulders were transported for miles to this mysterious place by unknown builders who used them to make circles.
Originally, archaeologists believed that there were 99 great sarsen stones about this size running all around the perimeter. But that wasn't the whole story of Avebury Henge, because not only that, but within the great circle, there were 2 other inner circles, each of diameter of about 300 feet.
The 40-ton stones hauled into place by ancient druids may be astronomical guides or calendars. It's believed sacred ceremonies of worship were held here for centuries. But no one really knows what drove the ancients to build monumental circles in this tiny corner of Britain. Each year, visitors flock to Wiltshire, looking for clues to the age-old riddle of the stone circles. And side by side in the fields, a new mystery, posed by the crop circles, begs for an answer. Is there a connection between the circles in the fields and the circles of stone?
My own perception is yes, there is. My belief is that the ancients created sacred sites very purposefully, understanding the interconnection of energies within them and their own place in the universe. And my sense is that crop circles are helping us to rediscover that connection.
One thing is certain. Scores of crop circles have appeared at the feet of these puzzling prehistoric monuments. Sometimes 1 or 2 a night. As many as 200 in one summer. Some crop formations even incorporate the ancient monuments into their design, like this formation with a mysterious burial mound at its center. Thousands marveled at this crop circle, which startled tourists near the busy road to Stonehenge. Author and researcher Andy Thomas has chronicled the crop circles here for a dozen years.
Even without the crop circles, there's something very magical about this whole area, but something about it attracts crop circles to appear out there in the fields.
Well-known crop circle investigator Colin Andrews grew up near Stonehenge. He's convinced the circles are here for a reason.
If you look, of course, at the design, the layout, the construction of those archaeological sites, like Stonehenge and Avebury, Silbury Hill, these are not only the same patterns as the crop circles that are appearing alongside them, we're looking at very, very similar ratios, mathematical relationships.
The geometry of the designs may offer clues, but some think a more fundamental geology plays a role in this surprising landscape.
Some people have wondered why it is that some places get many more crop circles than others. And one possible answer to this may be geology, because when you look at the rock strata, which underlies where we've had most of the crop formations, you discover that there's a connection with underground water.
Some believe an energy field runs through this part of southern England, along so-called ley lines.
Ley lines are a subtle grid of energy that has to do with electromagnetic fields of the Earth. It is directly related to electromagnetism that's emanating from the sun and interacting with solar activity. Ley lines are subtle lines of Earth energy that the ancient people were very aware of.
A single ley line is said to connect numerous churches and sacred sites in England, including the puzzling stone circles at Avebury. The alignment of sacred sites along a straight line was first noticed by a businessman in 1925. He suggested the ley lines followed a prehistoric trade route. Though there's no evidence to prove it, others say the lines mirrored the yearly path of the sun, or even ancient compass points devised by the Chinese. It was near these unproven ley lines that the first accounts of crop circles were recorded some 300 years ago. Then, as now, explanations for crop circles ranged from scientific to superstitious. In 1678, in this pamphlet published in Hertfordshire, the devil himself is depicted cutting a crop circle. According to the pamphlet, Lucifer stepped into the fields after a farmer hired a man to cut down his crop. The men argued, and the farmer swore he'd rather have the devil take his crop than pay the mower's price. That night, a strange orange light lit the fields, and it said the devil hacked down the crop. Another woodcut from a centuries-old book of English ballads depicts a strange harvest festival in which peasants danced in what might have been a crop circle, led by a supernatural horned creature. In 1686, a similar story was directly linked with crop circles by a professor at Oxford University, Robert Plott. It is said in the year of our Lord 1590, men and women, some with cloven hooves, were witnessed dancing round and round in the corn with a spirit in their midst. The spirit, often called Robin Goodfellow, was a mythical goblin-like figure, half man, half bull, known for leading good citizens astray. But Professor Plott, a famed natural historian, wasn't satisfied with superstitious explanations. The Oxford scientists finally concluded the few crop circles in Staffordshire had been caused by lightning. By 1880, imaginary forces gave way to a force of nature when an amateur scientist developed a new theory about odd circles discovered in his neighbor's wheat field. Published in the British journal Nature, the writer concluded the circles must have been formed by wild winds. But none of these explanations really satisfied. Crop circles would remain an occasional oddity until 20th century observers took flight. Coming up next, unexplained flying objects. Balls of light are caught hovering over the fields. Are they a signal from the real crop circle maker? In 1983, a British government engineer named Colin Andrews did a double take after driving by a wheat field near Stonehenge.
There was this arrangement of 5 circles forming a cross, a large circle in the center, about 70 feet. Immediately, I saw that this was very precise. It was not a random experience. Whatever or however these circles appeared there, they appear to have arrived together as an extraordinary pattern. Maybe it touched some spiritual place in me because it was a cross.
A Celtic cross, a traditional symbol dating back to 8th century Ireland, was stamped into the wheat field. The crop formation, one center circle with 4 satellite circles around it, matched the design of the Celtic or ringed cross. Andrews immediately suspected someone had made the design, but on closer look, Andrews says he found no footprints in the field except his own. Even stranger, the wheat stalks weren't broken, as if they'd been stepped on by someone in the field.
And once they're broken, they're broken. There's nothing you can do about that.
Instead, the stalks of wheat were bent over at right angles, as if they'd been steamed into place. The plants, though now lying flat on the ground, showed no signs that weight had been applied.
This fascinated me. This fired me up.
Andrews, along with former NASA technician Pat Delgado and pilot Busty Taylor, began documenting crop circles and taking aerial photos. By 1989, hundreds of crop circles had been counted by Andrews' team and others. Everyone knew the crop circles appeared overnight, but farmers reported no nighttime activity in their fields, at least no human activity. But balls of light, luminous, unidentified flying objects, were reported hovering near the crop circle fields. In 1990, photographer Stephen Alexander unexpectedly captured the mysterious lights on tape in daylight.
Got it?
Yeah. Where's it going?
Going up.
This single ball of light was recorded from a great distance away. Then, in 1999, another cameraman shot an even clearer image over a crop circle at Barbary Castle, England.
I can't think what that is. Can you see it moving across?
No. What?
Where the camera's pointing?
As cameraman Don Fletcher tried to steady his camera, the white ball of light hovered over a large crop formation.
What's that?
People walking in the crop circle seem not to notice it, but the image is clear on tape. Until the luminous sphere starts heading quickly up into the sky and out of sight.
Can you see it moving across?
You can see it. It's like a big insect.
Oh, I can't find it now.
They are unexplained, totally. They move purposefully. They move into the crop circles. They move into the tractor tire marks as if they are observing what's there. This is not like a child's balloon that would be released on a windy day. It's as if somebody or something is remotely controlling this particular object.
Often these balls of light are seen in over fields where at the moment there is no crop circle.
Boston-based science researcher Nancy Talbot witnessed the balls of light firsthand.
When these lights are spotted at night, as they often are in England when people are out watching, hoping to see a crop circle form. They were orange, kind of soccer ball sized, and orangey. The locals called them ambler gamblers because of their amber color. They're seen just simply floating in areas where crop circles often occur.
Unable to solve the riddle of the balls of light, crop circle researchers began looking for other clues. Aerial photographs, precise measurements, even electromagnetic voltmeters were used. Scores of new visitors to crop circles began reporting strange physical effects. Some reported fully charged batteries would go dead. Video cameras would stop recording. Compasses would spin wildly. People inside circles would, at times, feel a great sense of well-being, even euphoria, while others would report headaches, confusion, and more. In 1989, Andrews and Delgado published their findings. The book was called Circular Evidence. It was a sensation. Queen Elizabeth put it on her influential summer reading list. Prince Charles asked for a private tour after crop circles were reported on land he owned. With a royal nod to the rapidly growing mystery, the raucous British tabloids knew they had a big story. One newspaper offered a £10,000 reward to anyone who could prove how crop circles were made. Speculation about an extraterrestrial circle maker soon reached a crescendo. Had a spaceship landed and left rings in the field? Were aliens coming in the night to make the crop circles? If so, what message were they sending us? What did the strange circles and the increasingly complex symbols mean?
Oh, I definitely think it's something, it's not from this Earth.
Andrews wondered if a military base near the epicenter of the crop circle appearances was secretly involved. Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's cabinet asked Andrews to give weekly reports. And in 1990, Operation Blackbird, a high-tech crop circle surveillance project, was staged on land owned by the British Army. More than $1 million worth of equipment, paid for by the BBC and Japanese television, was set up over fields where crop circles frequently appeared. Cameras kept a 24-hour vigil.
We had seen lights which we could not easily account for early this morning, and that we were further analysing that data.
But after 10 days of watching and waiting for a circle to form, no conclusive evidence was found.
Couldn't we all be taken for a ride on this one, though? Couldn't it be young farmers coming out of the pub with their mowers?
Not at all. Myself and Pat Delgado, the authors of the book Circular Evidence, we have been looking at this for nearly 10 years, and we have the conclusive evidence that there is no hoax whatsoever.
But the world may never know exactly what Operation Blackbird's cameras found. Colin Andrews says the British Ministry of Defence demanded live television transmissions from the crop circle surveillance area be stopped at a critical moment. The Ministry of Defence refused to comment on Andrews' allegations. After Operation Blackbird, the world was no closer to explaining the mystery of the crop circles. There were still no footprints, no tracks, and not a circle maker in sight.
The bottom line is that they're still appearing. They're still appearing. The farmers are not seeing how they're getting there. The farmers have increased their own security. They have people out looking at their land. We have observers in these areas on the hilltops looking, waiting, observing, and still we don't see the circle makers.
When we return, strange figures move through the crops in the dark. We take you into the fields after midnight. Plus, scientists discover the circles may point to a bizarre event high above the Earth. Crop circles had been appearing mysteriously for hundreds of years in fields around the world, baffling experts and the public at large. But in all that time, no one had seen a crop circle form. No one had caught sight of a circle maker, human or otherwise. Then in 1991, two retired men from Hampshire, Doug Bowers and Dave Chorley, stepped forward with a wooden plank and a stunning announcement. Doug and Dave told newspapers they had spent the last 12 years secretly making crop circles. They had no proof to back up their claims, except their tools, a wooden board, some rope, and a sketch on paper.
Check out, this shows in the direction of the...
It was an idea hatched in a local pub, they said, designed to play a joke on the UFO or UFO enthusiasts.
We wanted to make the UFO societies think that a UFO had landed, you see. And after a few years, they didn't know whether to believe it or not.
Doug Bowers claimed he was inspired to make crop circles after a mysterious one appeared in Tully, Australia in 1966. A simple formation caused an uproar after a witness reported a flying saucer had landed. To this day, the Tully Formation is still unexplained in Australia. But Bauer's idea to create a copycat phenomenon took root back in England.
At certain times of your life, you love to take somebody for a ride, don't you? If it's not doing any harm. And I didn't see it doing any harm.
In the mid-90s, Doug and Dave announced they were through circle making. But the circles didn't stop coming. Now a new generation says it's picked up the plank. Meet the Circle Makers of London.
We used to draw circles on paper with compass and pen, but these days we actually work on a mini-CAD system on a computer. It's not just a matter of drawing a pretty pattern, you have to know how to physically make it on a large scale in a field, and so you won't leave any traces that show that you've been in there. We use something which we describe as a stalk stomper, which is a 4-foot plank of wood with a loop of rope. The plank goes under one of your feet and you move forward, kind of in loping steps, laying down the crop. And we also use a surveyor's tape, and so with 2 people, you can use it like a human compass.
Circle makers John Lundberg and Rod Dickinson demonstrated their work for cameras in the daytime, but they insist their real work is done at night. This video was made by the hoaxers themselves, because so far, they say they've never been caught on tape in the act of making a crop circle.
And if worst comes to the worst, and we think there might be a possibility of someone coming into the field, then we'll stop what we're doing and we'll gather up all our equipment and we'll move out of the formation.
But they've never completely fessed up. John Lundberg won't admit exactly which circles he's made.
If you claim a crop circle, you kill it, you drain it of all of its mystery, and it's the mystery that's important to us, and it's the mystery that's important to the crop circle researchers.
The hoaxers' confessions disillusioned some crop circle researchers, but many remained convinced that the midnight work of a few pranksters was not enough to make hundreds of circles each summer. How could a team of 2 be responsible for so many circles still appearing worldwide? And more importantly, how could anyone ignore the startling new scientific evidence that something otherworldly was happening in the fields? William Levengood, a respected American biophysicist, formerly of the University of Michigan, had seen the photographs of mysteriously flattened wheat and corn in Andrew's book, Circular Evidence. But the scientist wanted to know more. What happened inside the plants when a crop circle formed? If an unknown energy force could flatten plants in the field in a matter of seconds, was it also affecting them at the cellular level? Levengood began examining the tops of wheat stalks found inside a crop circle. The plants looked normal, but then the scientist opened up the seed heads. What he found was completely unexpected.
To my utter amazement, there were no seeds in them.
Dozens of stalks of wheat from inside a crop circle had stopped producing seeds at the same point in development. But the wheat stalks hadn't died after the crop circles formed. They'd kept on growing.
So that is what told me that, we better take a closer look here. That turned me around from being disinterested to be very interested.
Now, Levengood has analyzed plants from more than 250 crop circles over a dozen years. He's formulated an astonishing theory to explain just how the crop circles form. It all adds up, Levengood says, to evidence an energy source unknown to man is creating crop circles. He suspects it forms like a whirlwind high above the earth. But not just any whirlwind, an electrically charged plasma vortex.
this plasma vortex energy that comes down from the ionosphere. This starts out as a huge donut. It may be miles across, maybe even 50 or 60 miles. And as it descends through the ionosphere, it approaches the Earth and it's configured by the magnetic field of the Earth. A crop formation is a very, very complex body of organized energy.
Melted bits of iron oxide found inside crop circles suggest the circles are subjected to a brief burst of microwave heat. Some plants have bizarre holes called expulsion cavities, as if they've popped open after an immense blast of energy. Research partner Nancy Talbot explains.
In Indiana, 2 summers ago, I think now, there were 5 circles in full-grown corn. We get them in corn all the time in the U.S. This particular case, we found something brand new. These were expulsion cavities, these holes blown out at the nodes, in full-grown corn. The amount of energy that it must have taken to do this has to be very intense.
Levengood suspects 7 different energy forces combine to create plasma vortexes and crop circles. In his view, it's a chaotic event that leads to precise, elaborate circles in a matter of seconds.
See, most people don't realize in science that chaos mechanisms can cause these sort of geometric patterns. Now, it seems like a contradiction in terms to think that these geometric patterns can come out of chaos, because they're very well organized. Well, that's exactly what happens. And these are being studied in the scientific world quite thoroughly now.
Few university scientists have rigorously explored the crop circle phenomenon or been willing to publish their results. Some assert the work could damage their reputations. But longtime crop circle researchers say Levengood's plasma vortexes could be a physical sign of an expanding human consciousness. Perhaps, they reason, mental energy is manifesting itself in the natural world as a crop circle.
My sense is that this phenomenon is an important harbinger of change in human consciousness, and whether it has human intervention or not, it's the message rather than the messenger we should be focusing on.
The mystery of the crop circle's unexplained origin has attracted other scientific minds, including a former chairman of the astronomy department at Boston University. Gerald Hawkins initially set out to prove crop circles were made by hoaxers, but what he found surprised him. Hawkins claimed in the journal Science News to have found a new geometric theorem after analyzing crop circle designs, a post-Euclidean fifth theorem not found in any textbooks. Using precisely measured circles, Hawkins found some of the new geometrical theorems in this formation. Hawkins says that while the mechanics of crop circle formation are still a mystery, the intellectual profile of the secretive circle maker is becoming clearer. Whatever or whoever makes these circles is a sophisticated mathematician. But there may be more than mathematics. The crop circles also seem to make music. Diatonic ratios are the intervals between the white keys of a piano, the familiar do-re-mi sequence. Those sound vibrations can be translated into shapes and ratios, and then writ large in the fields.
We can say that what you are looking at in the fields is music. And I think it is fair to say that when you listen to crop circle music, you play back what it is you're looking at. It's not music to the ear. It isn't going to be a piece that you would want to play regularly over dinner. It sounds a little spooky.
Hawkins believes the combination of crop circle geometry, math, and musical elements proves circles are far more than a natural phenomenon. But in his view, the circle maker's identity, human or otherwise, is still a mystery. Even the circle makers of London, perhaps the ultimate skeptics, admit they don't have all the answers. John Lundberg has seen the eerie balls of light over the fields.
We've seen flashes of light, balls of light moving along the side of the field. And at one point I did actually see myself and probably 3 other circle makers were out in Wiltshire, and we saw what was kind of like a lozenge-shaped craft in the sky with 2 blinking lights at either end of it. For all I know, it could be some kind of military craft because it's Salisbury Plain. There's a lot of military testing that goes on around there. But it was silent and it arced through the sky. And so, you know, it's kind of like a typical archetypal UFO sighting.
And while he insists that some of the complex formations are his own work, he admits some crop formations may be made by a non-human creator.
I can't say that every single crop circle that's been made is man-made. It's a question you should ask the researchers.
Coming up, we investigate the first crop circle of the year, but even a plant scientist is afraid to walk inside. Each spring, crop circle watchers wait and wonder, will the strange and wonderful circles return once again to haunt the fields? The answer this year comes suddenly in mid-April, when the first crop circle of the season forms overnight in a field in Hampshire, England, as if out of nowhere. Within hours, an aerial photo circulates worldwide on the internet. It's a simple ringed formation in a field of bright yellow canola. Double dots mark one side. Our cameras went along with crop circle researcher Lucy Pringle on her way to investigate what mysterious energy forces this circle holds. But first, she needs the okay of the farmer.
Hello, Mr. Horn.
Yes?
I'm Lucy Pringle.
Pleased to meet you, Stephen.
I wonder if I could possibly ask permission to go into the crop circle, which is at the crossroads, which I believe is on your land.
Yes, certainly. You're welcome to go and have a look.
That's
I'll
very
be
kind.
Interested to know what you think about it.
Farmer Stephen Horn admits he was stunned to find a crop circle on his land.
I've been here all my life, and I've never seen one in that particular field or actually on the whole farm before.
Horn once saw a crop circle on a neighbor's farm, but the unknown origin of crop circles made just going inside that circle truly alarming.
I walked in there with our agronomist who looks after the crops.
Yeah.
He actually wouldn't enter it.
The plant expert feared residual electromagnetic energies might harm him or sensitive computer equipment.
Thank you very much indeed.
Very interested to know what you find.
With the farmer's permission secured, Lucy and 2 more researchers meet at the crop circle site.
You'd have to drive up that road there.
Right.
And you see it on the crest. When you look back, you actually see the circle.
Researchers Paul Vigay and Christopher Weeks have analyzed hundreds of the enigmatic circles. Today, they'll check the circle area for unusual electromagnetic energies.
This one's a commercial electromagnetic detector. It will jump, not just fluctuate, because as you can see it fluctuates anyway, it will suddenly jump dramatically 200 or 300%.
They'll check the plants to see if the stems are broken, or if they've been gently flattened, as if steamed into place.
And just the slightest touch on that, you can see there, damages it and wipes it off. So it causes a form of bruising. And quite a lot of the stems have got that on. In the genuine formation, it would be a perfectly curved stem with no signs of snapping or damage at all.
The crop circle researchers determine it may be too late to conclude exactly how this circle formed. Earlier visitors have already damaged the crop.
First analysis, I don't know. It's difficult to tell at this stage.
Crop circle researchers generally agree a powerful natural force is physically shaping the crop circles. But many believe that strange energy force is guided by a higher intelligence, shaping the circles either from this Earth or beyond. One thing is certain, the crop circle riddle is still unsolved. Man-made or a message from another world, the crop circles are a source of wonder, a device designed to get our attention.
We're looking at the next phase of history here. We're looking at a future which let's hope we get to see. This, I think, is a serious attempt, maybe from the subconscious, maybe from some other higher domain of intelligence, but I think we're looking at information about our future.
They're here almost to poke mankind with a stick. They're here to give us questions, not answers. The crop circles don't give us answers. They're stimulating us to try to find answers within ourselves, and maybe that's all they're here to do.
Who knows what we can learn from the study of this? I mean, that's part of what makes it so interesting. Whether it's a completely natural, spontaneous phenomenon or not, it means that the world we live in is much larger than we currently imagine.
It feels special. I think that's the bottom line. The mystery continues.